Every veteran has a story. A story of sacrifice, courage, humor, and heartache. Each week, Veteran Story Hour captures these remarkable stories firsthand in the voices of those who've served. Recorded live from the weekly Friday brunch in the Saluda, Virginia studio in Waynesboro. This is more than a podcast. It's a living history, preserving the legacy of America's heroes. You're listening to Veteran Story Hour, Voices of Valor, presented by Saluda, Virginia. Let's begin. Today's guest is William Cunningham. And let's just say, if life were a military briefing, his wouldn't have followed the PowerPoint. Will's story starts with a plan, the possibility of Harvard, on to West Point, the polished path. But it doesn't go that way. What it becomes instead, a masterclass in hard resets, surprise mentors, bad leadership, and figuring out how to build something better, with or without the shiny brass. He talks about getting screamed at in formation and how spite can be a surprisingly effective fuel when the world tells you you're not worth the investment. And in the middle of all of that, heart and humor and the kind of honesty you only get from someone who's been dropped, disappointed, and still showed up anyway. So buckle up, because this story isn't neat, it's real, and it's 100% Will. Ladies and gentlemen, William Cunningham.
Will Cunningham. It occurred to me why Zach was so enthusiastic about getting me to come here to speak today, because he didn't tell me that he started to co-host these things. And now all the pieces are coming together.
It's all coming into place now.
I have seen the light. I was blind, but now I see.
You're welcome.
You motherfucker.
You're very welcome, Will.
What was the service that you went into, Will?
So I commissioned into the Army as an infantry officer in 2015.
And what gets you to go in at 2015? Because this is now, you know, in for the lay person, right, we're borderline. Nobody can remember that we're still at war.
Yeah.
By this time period. It's almost an afterthought, except for the folks that are, you know, literally living it still. So what drives you when there's not such an impetus of like 9/11 has happened, hey, hoorah, let's go, and we're going to go jump in and fight the bad guys?
You know, I was, it's fascinating because I was talking to Tom, one of the guys, well, I guess it's not Heat Living Waters anymore, but the Salute peer group for the Fisherville area. And
share what that is, just so for listeners. That
so it's just a group of veterans who get together. It's a little bit therapeutic, a little bit just kind of emotional support group. Veterans of all ages get together, kind of share their stories, talk things out. Started by I don't want to say started because I don't know the exact way it all came about, but Steve Wilbark, I believe, has an episode with you. If not, we'll probably have one soon.
Not yet, but we look forward to it.
Yeah, I'm sure Zach will recruit him.
I will coerce him
politely and effectively. But he kind of, it's a bit like a group therapy kind of thing for veterans, kind of just like process getting through life. It's all ages. We have some Vietnam vets, some Iraq vets, some guys who are just Desert Storm, Desert Shield guys, and people in more me who were like post OIF 1 2 OEF guys who just kind of recently got out. And it's just a little bit of community, a little bit of just kind of talking through life's problems, a whole lot of laughing, the occasional dick joke, as all things go with veterans. And every once in a while, we'll talk about something serious or some serious issues. Case in point, Tom brought up something about the Army numbers. I forgot what started the conversation, but I, as somebody who worked in a basic training organization, recruiting numbers were something we monitored and were aware of significantly, just for simple throughput and output of bringing in America's next generation and then turning them into somewhat competent warfighters. Didn't always work out like that, but whatever. Excuse me. So one of the things I was aware of, and these stats are just pulled out of my ass, so don't somebody who hears this podcast is like, oh, well, actually, yeah, fuck you, dude. I'm not reading off stats.
I love that you're getting angry at this hypothetical individual that might or might not exist.
There's always, I know too many people like it who will, if whatever the comment section of a podcast is or looks like, will be like, well, actually, in 2014, we recruited 225%. Fuck you, dude, whatever. Broad strokes, 10% of every year of people who come into any armed forces in the military are those people who love the Army, their generational Army, and their dad served, their grandfather served, whatever.
Sure.
Or they believe in service and something like that, and that's what they do. And this isn't to criticize or dismiss them. This is just more to say that there's about 10% of every year are people who want to serve, who have never not known they wanted to serve.
They're generationally invested.
Yes, either generationally invested, or they're just, there's some people who don't have any generational investment, and they just service is what it is. Either they saw some dude in the Army when they were 5, they watched G.I. Joe too much and didn't think about all the ramifications. I can't tell you the psychology of it all.
Always part of the plan.
They exist, and I'll use the term. I use the number 10% for the sake of argument. I don't actually know what the number is off the top of my head anymore. Every other person is incentivized to join
in some way.
In some way, be it this is current because of the transgender ban, be it they want to pay to be pay for their transition to another gender, they want to pay for school, traditionally, and this is a broad stroke statement, but their life is shit and they want to make it better. That's it. You can argue about what the term shit means and how shitty is and all that. Is it brown? Is it green? Are there corn in it? But their life is shit and they're trying to make it better. I fell into that category. My life was shit. I just graduated from high school. We didn't really have college money. And I had a twin brother. So our family was like, hey, you both are going to go to this whole West Point thing, which is, a choice.
Was it really a choice?
Were you were voluntold?
I basically had a gun pointed at me and told me I'm gonna go to this place because I wanted to go to Harvard like a fucking nerd.
I can see Will at Harvard
and be a lawyer like a fucking nerd. Like a week after I signed the Harvard thing. So the reason my parents didn't want me to go to Harvard is we didn't have Harvard money. The scholarship I was being offered from Harvard, and I want to say this was obviously significant. Like, oh God, how old am I? This was like 16 years ago, so like the details might be off a little bit. But Harvard was only offering like a 1 year at a time scholarship that would be renewed at the end of every year, which is obviously just like a really weird way to fund your education. So they were like, no, we're not going to do that. And, at the time I was like, dick, but like as an adult, I'm like, yeah, fair. It's, I get it. So we in West Point was offering a free 4-year ride to education. Free being there was no financial money involved. Whole lot of blood, sweat, tears, and other bodily fluids.
Sure. So life is shit.
Yeah.
So you jump in.
More like tepidly step in because the pool was kind of cold. And then I found out 2 weeks later that I got the Bill Gates scholarship, so I could have gone to Harvard for free.
No way.
Yeah. Well, let me rephrase this. It was probably like 2 or 3 weeks later, notification of it arrived. I wasn't told until a year later because my parents kept that from me.
I bet they did.
So I could go to West Point.
With your brother, right?
With my brother.
So So
For those of you who can't view the podcast because we're not recording it, there is a look of extreme frustration and disappointment in my life choices.
well, yeah, what you were made to decide. So you go to West Point.
Yeah.
You graduate West Point.
I do not. My brother did, though. Good for him.
Good for him. Well, you were there, his emotional support animal. I'm sure without you there, he wouldn't have. So anyway, so you guys get through.
He did say, like, because I got kicked out, we would have graduated in May. I ended up leaving February. So he was like, oh, fuck. He's like, I started running. I did cardio. He's like, I might have well had a 6-pack at that point. Because he was like, yeah, that was a fuck for him. So I think he would have been fine regardless. But, you know, nothing says I need to get my shit together. Like your biological twin getting kicked out of a school that you're in. You're like, I might be next.
I like that. So he gives you the morning shot. He stays in. You get out. And then commission from there?
Yeah. So I literally, so my parents come up, pack up my stuff, drive down back home. So New York to Maryland's 4-hour drive, and was probably one of the longest 4-hour drives of my life. Was like, hey, so what do you want to do? And I'm like, oh, now you guys care what I want to do? You didn't give a fuck for 3.5 years ago. Now all of a sudden what I want to do matters. So needless to say, they stopped asking that question and said, hey, we're going to take you over to Bowie State University, who friends of friends knew the professor of military science, a woman named Lieutenant Colonel Eartha Govan. She's retired now. And you're going to speak with her, you're going to interview, and you're going to join their ROTC program. And I was just laid out in the backseat in my depressed slumber of not giving a fuck, and I was just like, sure.
Yeah.
Whatever. I don't care.
Yeah, you've just gotten kicked out. You have no plan other than just alcohol.
Yeah.
Like
no, that's literally what I told everybody. They were like, oh, what's your plan? And Kendrick Lamar was popular at the time and still is now. And I said, find a swimming pool of liquor and dive in it.
Yeah, I would say that would be the only rational, you know what I mean?
Completely rational response to.
For sure.
Yeah. I don't know why they looked at me like I had a problem or something. Fucking nerds.
So what's that like for you, though, to go through your situation and then a few months later you see your brother graduate?
Collectively.
Go to graduation.
Yeah, I went there. Hell, I paid for it. I financially, like the someone's summer home or whatever we rented out, I like paid the deposit for it or the rental fee and all that. It's emotionally, it sucks. You know, it's a weird, like, because it's like the emotional low point of your life, but you also have to be like emotionally supportive of 1, your brother, 2, your twin brother, and 3, like your friends that are there too.
Sure.
You know, so it's like complicated. Like I think I told my brother this story, but so West Point has this thing called the alma mater. Well, every school has an alma mater, but like, you know, we had to sing it at every fucking thing in the world, including football games.
And so did we.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Nothing says a great time like right after a rousing football game to sing Hail Alma Mater. Yeah, just really.
Every alma mater is the same. We had to do it after every single football
They
game.
were all written like by like tone deaf people in the 1820s. So
or slave owners. Yeah. Like
I said tone deaf people in the 1820s. No.
Synonymous.
There's a reason the slaves played the music. It wasn't because they could carry the tune better. I think you need to play it like this. No, master. No. But yeah, it was the first time I had heard one of the events leading up to it. It was the first time I heard it, and I realized it didn't apply to me.
Sure. It's not your alma mater anymore.
Yeah, and it was, you know, it's because at a certain point, like you, like obviously, like your alma mater for some people only matters for like the 4 years you're there, and they don't care about the school, their alma mater at all, which fair, but like considering how I was like joining the army afterwards, it's like, you know,
it is way more of a psychological commitment once you are there. You've put in the time now.
Well, that and like part of our alma mater is the words "Be thou at peace," and it is what is said anytime a graduate passes. It is said, you know, you see it on or I seen on Facebook posts for dudes that I went to school with who may have passed already, other people from, they call it the long gray line and all that. So it's, you know, it's less like, yeah, being a part of alma mater and connected in school is a not necessarily a unique thing for people, but it is different, I will say, in some ways because of the connection with the actual service that has its own fraternity and its own
Totally.
values and traditions and all that. So like it all kind of hit it one, like obviously like not being there, like I had to get back my class ring. That sucked. Like I remember they give you like clearing papers, like you would clear out an installation, but like it's like hey, make sure this you've turned in all these accounts are settled, whatever. And you know, there's like a cadet store that you technically like is your liaison to like the ring people, whatever, because like they are super protective of their class rings because their class rings they originated the concept of class rings. West Point did.
Sure.
Or at least they claim to. I don't.
VMI, same way, super passionate.
Yeah, VMI stole literally the dude who founded VMI like stole a bunch of money from West Point, drove down here, and then set up a school.
Said by somebody that went to West Point.
Yeah, hey, that's how West Point started the story. And I'm sure the VMI side of the story is like, he legally wanted a game of cards and then drove down here and said I could make my own West Point with blackjack and hookers. And sure enough, he made his own West Point with blackjack and hookers. So, you know, he was right. I'll give him that. Also probably committed a felony, but, you know, whatever. Who am I to judge? So, like, you go to the store and they're like, all right, hey, we need your class ring back. Like, if you give your class ring, like, let's say you pass your class ring on to your child or whatever, they will take it back. They might buy it off the child, but they will take it back because they don't want class rings. And that story might be apocryphal, so don't, you know.
Sure. The legend is.
Yeah, don't shake your fist at it. But, like, let's say, like, somebody, like, sells off their class ring and, you know, for like pawn shop, like the AOG Associated Graduates will like go out and like grab those class rings because they don't want them like out in like gen pop. They want them only with graduates or their families or stuff like that, which whatever, that's their prerogative. You got to justify that booster money somehow. I don't care. But they're like, no, you need to give it back. And I was just like, hypothetically, just throwing a stone out here. And I was like, if I, lost my ring, what would happen? And the lady looked at me, you know, like the liar that I was, and said, well, hypothetically, if you lost your ring, we wouldn't do anything about it. But hypothetically, you said you lost your ring, then hypothetically, you had it again, and we saw it on you. There may be legal consequences. And I was like, I looked at her like the liar that I was and just said, you know, I think I know where my ring is and I'll bring it right back to you. And sure enough, I did. And I am really glad they did not ask me to get back the pendant that I got. One of us bought one for our grandmother. The other one bought one for our stepmother. I forget who bought what, but I bought a pendant that matched my class ring and I gave it to either my grandmother or stepmother. I forget. My brother did the opposite. I'm just glad they didn't make us give that back because that was a conversation I was not prepared to have.
Sure.
I would have taken the legal consequences because I was like, hey, officer, she has it. Do something with her.
Yeah.
All you,
ask.
all you, by all means, have fun.
You want it back. It's right
You want
over
it that
there.
You want it that bad? She got it right there. Have fun. So thankfully they didn't ask for that back. But
So psychologically, how do you climb out of this hole? Right? It's that we're going to take you to JORTC. So that's where you're going to go.
yeah.
The only other option is a swimming pool full of Hennessy, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, it's two options.
And Hypnotic.
Yeah.
I was a huge Incredible Hulk guy at the time.
There you go. So that's fair. So we're either going to zig or we're going to zag.
Yeah.
And we're assuming that we zagged and we are now at JORTC.
Yeah.
How do you get yourself mentally back from zero fucks given, I've got nothing left in the bag, to getting out of that?
And this is probably not psychologically healthy. Well, I can tell you for a fact it did not turn out to be psychologically healthy. But one of the things that happened through the process of getting separated from West Point was basically everybody who was in your chain of command has to like bless off on you being kicked out. And to be clear, ostensibly I was kicked out for academic reasons. I did fail classes. I say ostensibly because there was like a lot of other fuckery that put pressure on me, and I didn't perform the way I should have. I didn't respond to it the way I should have. Kind of gave up on being there. You know, to fair is fair. I was being put, a lot of pressure was put on me, and I responded the way they wanted me to, which was to crumble up in a ball and not do what I was supposed to do. Whereas I should have tried to adapt and overcome.
Yeah, rise to the occasion.
Yeah. So that being said, there was also two of the people who were trying to kick me out were also a teacher in my class, and I magically failed all the papers that I had in that class. So, you know, whatever.
So you get to JORTC.
But no, the reason I brought that up was one of the things that was said was I was a complete waste of the taxpayer dollars, and the only way to recoup their investment would be for me to enlist in the Army as an E4 non-promotable.
Non-promotable.
Yeah, you didn't even have to put that. Like I didn't think I was going to be promotable when I got in anyway. But the fact that he was like, no, non-promotable. So yeah, being called a waste of taxpayer dollars is the weirdest thing to hear from someone who's not your father. Because like your father says it, you're like, yeah, sure, whatever. But like, some random dude who really didn't know me said it, and I'm like, yeah, that one stuck in my craw a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. It was like, all right, fuck this guy.
Well, especially because you know how many people are absolute pieces of shit.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, let's step back. Like, I get the hyperbole, and I get a motherfucker trying to motherfuck a kid for making a decision, but you're a kid. Like, at the end of the day, we're all kids until we hit 40.
Yeah, probably.
You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, like, for sure, especially males. So
brain development is overrated anyway.
And so, but the idea of like step back from that comment, right? It's just like, dude, there are some massive pieces of shit that walk among us on a daily basis.
Yeah.
But you are.
Yeah.
You're like, it's no.
Yeah,
You're the problem
I am
right now.
the piece of shit.
Correct.
But that dude over there, he's better than you, and he does all of these other things. But you're like that gum on the bottom of the shoe, on the bottom of the gum.
Of that guy. That guy's shoe.
And the wildest part about it was like part of what started all the trouble was me calling myself a piece of shit to a major. I'm and that is not in any way a joke. I literally called myself and two of my peers piece of shit first class cadets, and she did not take kindly to that comment. Not in the you should be more positive about yourself. She got in my face, called me a punk ass cadet, and that was one of the few times in my life I ever considered uppercutting somebody, or more specifically uppercutting a woman. And I was like, ooh, right in uppercut range too. It was just, I mean, she was like here, which, you know, I'm pretty sure everybody would have cheered for me, but also that's assault, and that's like a real crime instead of like getting kicked out of school, which is like a fake crime. You know, it doesn't really count in terms of the whole crime thing. Anyway, so I guess the mentality was just like, all right, I have to prove these people wrong. I have to, justify my existence on this earth and the taxpayer dollars.
Be worth tax dollars, apparently.
Won't somebody think of the taxpayer?
Got to be worth them food stamps now.
Oh, the SNAP benefits, no.
Mm-hmm. So we pivot mentally enough to be like, all right, then I'm going to fight. And I resonate with that emotion very strongly of proving someone wrong.
Yeah.
Like I was fueled by nothing but hate and spite, which got through most of my athletic career because I had people who said, oh, well, you can't do that. You're this or you're that or you're this. It's like, oh, watch me. I was kind of interested before, but now that you feel this way and you felt the need to vocalize it to me, oh, that's all I needed. That's all the fuel that I'll have.
Yeah, and I mean, and there was like some shame, regret. There's a whole lot of nice little
cocktail
of emotions that I've chose not to interact with because I'm a man. And that's what men do.
And that's what men do. Bury it deep down.
That's for my therapist to figure out, not me. So it, and in some ways, like, I think it was beneficial for me personally. Like in some ways, like, you fail like that. I didn't really experience a lot of failure in my life in terms of like things that really mattered. Like, you
totally,
like I lost football games that I played in, lost championships and all, shit happens. But like at the end of the day, it's like, it's high school sports. Like I'm not playing. I wasn't good enough to play at collegiate level. So what I did in high school kind of really didn't matter to me, or in reality doesn't matter at all unless you're in the state of Texas, where high school football might as well be living and breathing.
It's all fucking pretend,
Yeah.
man. Like even
it's
if you play, like it's at the end of it's a game. Like it truly at the and then it brings lots of people joy, and there's elements of that are important. But that's my wife and I have a phrase for these types of things. It's fake business.
Yeah.
It's something that, like, if shit hits the fan, no one gives a flying fuck how good you are at the flute or how good of a quarterback you were.
Yeah. It's a cult with shoulder pads, but
for sure.
But at the same time, my life was never predicated on it. So like I'm aware of the privilege of knowing like how good I am at football would never have impacted my life, because I was never good enough at football for it to have impacted my life.
It wasn't your vehicle.
Yeah.
So this is like your first big boy adult moment.
Where you've now fucked it sideways.
Yeah, like it was I fucked something up so much that, you know, I don't roll out of bed in the next morning. You know, there's no get the next one, you know, next rep or next play, next snap, next day at school. You know, there was no next day, or the next day was sitting in an audience getting rained on, watching my class walk across the stage, graduate, and knowing exactly where my name was and where it would have been called.
Right.
And not hearing it. Yeah, that was the next day, or the metaphorical next day. So it's, you know, all right, let's get after it. Let's, you know, channel all this rage into working out, doing physical therapy because my back was messed up, or, you know, stretching, getting ready, and then, you know, just trying to commit myself to it, because I also still had to like finish college or something, which was like, you know, important.
But at least it was still hanging there. Like you kind of you say that like sarcastically, which I appreciate, is your like opus whatever the phrase is.
It is my only emotional response to
correct. And I'm all about that. But there is an element where at least that was there. You know what I mean? Because now we're talking about pits of despair. And how deep are we going to go? And when do we lose? When is it time to check out completely?
Yeah, we'll get there. It was definitely like, you know, it was frustrating because, like, you know, my dad paid for at least the first couple payments of my education, and you know, he was upset about it because he's like, oh, I was trying to buy this new house, and I was like, you've been trying to buy a house for a decade. Don't bring that shit on me, brother. Like, you've been trying to buy a house since I went to school. If you ain't shit, or get off the pot, nigga. But
there you are, wasting tax dollars again.
Fucking tax dollars. My bad. The other thing was like, eventually, my stepmother's great uncle Levi, I'd never met the man, but by all accounts, he was a great human being. Left a trust fund for anybody in the family who was going to college to pay for their school. So
that's dope.
Yes, it was. Thankfully, financially, it all worked out where I was able to cover the rest of the school. So on the financial side, I was taken care of, and it all worked out. So that was helpful. I was able to be able to just focus on exactly what I was doing, and not have to worry about the logistical side of going to school.
Mm-hmm.
And it was beneficial. And then part of it was like, the school was close to where I lived, so it was like a normal day-to-day commute. The situation bred my ability to just lock in and be like, I need to focus on finishing my education, which was frankly the easy part. Academically, the school I went to, and this is no disrespect to the school, but I was able to, I was not worried about a million things. I was only worried about my education, but I also didn't have to worry about the stupid military shit that West Point makes you have to worry about. Like,
sure.
You know, is my room clean or something? Like I didn't have to worry about the dumb shit.
It's one less wrinkle that you have to account for.
It was several wrinkles, but
sure.
My bed was notoriously bad. Guy said it looked like poop. It's funny. No, like we had to do room inspections. It's like, what the fuck does this have to do with?
Yes, that's a normal
My
thing. You're
chemistry.
acting like that's not a normal thing.
Yeah,
That's a normal thing.
your room was inspected every day in college. Oh shit, maybe we were.
No, but I've taught at a military high school,
Yeah.
and that very much is a normal part.
Yeah, I know. And I also had to like do that and go do chemistry, and it's just like, yeah, I have to focus on chemistry, but you guys are gonna white glove inspect my room tonight, so I hope those two things don't conflict at all. Because this is important. This will make me a better leader. Am I going to white glove inspect my soldiers' rooms? No, you're an officer. We don't do that. Then why the fuck?
You're thinking too much.
Yeah, I do that
There's
a lot.
way too much thought going into why I'm pretty sure there's several things that have, as I've heard the stories, there's several things that they're doing because.
Yeah, it's tradition. And they did it. We literally had a dude walk around my freshman year at West Point in a Confederate cap, which was just,
It's a bold move.
Yeah, just I just saw it and I was just like, I do not have the gravitas here to bring up all the things that is wrong with that. I'm just gonna sit here and just let it go. He said my plebe year or my freshman year was terrible, so you all should be terrible. And I was just like, no, that's not how that works at all. That's, in fact, you can make ours better.
It's allowed.
And as I said to Zach for a completely unrelated thing, we shall suffer as our ancestors have suffered. And
Oh, yeah.
that is 100%.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's tons of stuff that happens in the Army all the time and you get the rationalization given to you that, well, this is how it's always been done,
Yep.
so this is how it will be done today.
Yep.
And you're like, that doesn't make any sense.
Yep.
Like, this is 20 whatever.
Yeah.
Who cares how they did it in 1943?
And the guy who did it is long gone, dead, retired, whatever. And
And he hated it back then
Yeah.
too. Like
and he
it-
just, it's a
he
weird.
didn't
It's,
wanna do
it's,
it either.
You know, like I said, it's a cult with boots. You know, it's a weird thing. Anyway, regardless of all of that, I just was like, all right, let me focus. I have the opportunity here to like actually recover, get back to where I was supposed to be. Ignore the $30,000 of career starter debt that I have just sitting in an account somewhere. We're just gonna act like that's not there.
Mhm.
It's not there. If I don't look at it, it can't hurt me. Spoiler, it could, and it did. But that was an awkward phone call. But yeah, I was just able to focus and lock in. And then also just one of the fundamental differences between what West Point does and what maybe ROTC units do, because it's a class of 1,000 people, but also you have 3 other classes of 1,000 people. You have, you know, any point in time like 4,000 people up there, give or take. It could be bigger now. I don't know. There are people there who are there to actually get developed into leaders, and everybody else there are the Sims, lemmings, the foot soldiers there for the development of others.
I really like that breakdown.
Yeah, and it's either like you might have your father might have been a fucking general or lieutenant colonel or something that some other lieutenant colonel was like, we're gonna make the best out of you, and then or like you popped off or you were prior service, whatever it was. And this is not to disparage those people who were the chosen, right? They either Daddy Warbuck said they were chosen and they got chosen, or they actually had some potential that somebody saw and they got chosen. Whatever it is, don't really care. The rest of us were there to make them better, to train them, to give them masses and legions to move around,
Sure.
to be better. And you know, that's fine. But not everyone got the individualized development that they needed, or got put in positions that they needed to actually develop, learn, and grow.
But I cannot tell you how similar. Well, one, that's real life.
Yeah.
Like that's real life.
Yeah.
And like it just and
But
it was,
real life also doesn't claim to be the prestige leadership academy where everybody here is going to lead other people and like make decisions for life and death situations. Life is just life. It's not a paradigm. It is like there's nobody guiding and shaping life, depending on who you believe in. There's nobody guiding and shaping life. It just exists and happens. Like sure, like life is cruel and chance and terrible things happen, but it's different when somebody writes it. Hey, George R.R. Martin, finish Winds of Winter, goddammit. It's different when somebody writes it and shapes it and makes it artificially creates the suck, as it were. Like, it's different. You know, when somebody chooses to do it, like, if your life was terrible, or bad, life is shit, so bad that you decided to join the military, life is shit. Cool. It'd be another thing if it's some Truman Show level shit where somebody actually made your life that shitty and it was just sitting there in the back like, good.
I get that.
Yeah.
I guess for the reason why, for me especially, where it's like for athletics, it's you go to college football, you're going to play. So they're going to tell you, yeah, dude, you're going to play. Like, they're going to tell you all the things.
Yes.
But you quickly, as soon as you, and some guys don't ever figure it out. But one thing that I figured out very early, it's like, oh, no. There's 22 guys that are going to start.
Yeah.
Right. And we could argue if you have a whole separate special teams unit, right, you've got 33 guys.
Yeah.
But the rest of us are here to be turned into hamburger to get the guys that are going to go play professionally on Sunday. That's our job.
Yeah.
And they're a little bit more honest.
Yeah.
Where eventually you don't get to wear a jersey that has your name on it. You get to wear the other team's jersey, and you're a scout team guy.
Yeah.
And your job is to get pummeled by the first string, then the second string, and then the freshmen that have come in that have been told that they're great. And that's literally your only job is to absolutely just get your shit pushed in at all times of all days.
And I mean, I'm not going to go into Iranian philosophy about letting the great be great and, do not get in their way at all and just completely ignore it. I don't, there are thousands of situations in life where we are around just to make the people in charge, the people in power, the people placed in power be better, or I'll use the term better, or to increase something about them, be it their net worth, their pocket change, or how many Ferraris they have, whatever. That's, as you said, that is life. In your example, one, you're not going to go, your job is to make them better for Sunday, and two, you're not going to go play on Sunday.
But how dare you? Because that's not the plan.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, the reality is that you're like, no, I want to go play on Sunday.
Sure, and you want to go play on Sunday. The difference is, imagine if you were still going to go play on Sunday. And you spent all this time preparing the other guy, and then now you still have to go play on Sunday. And you still have to perform, and you still have to, probably for the Browns, because the Browns is the Browns, but you have to go play. But
there's scout teams in the pros too.
No, yes. But my point is, imagine spending all your time developing somebody else or being used to develop somebody else, and then also having to go be a leader and having to go be a starting quarterback.
And you haven't gotten
any, you don't know your leadership style. You don't, that's
I hear that.
The frustrating part about it. And it's not, and I'm grossly oversimplifying things. Like, yes, everybody there, not everybody, but a lot of people there get chances to be leaders in some capacity and some learning. But the resources of the school are spent on the few, not the many.
Isn't that one of the mottos for one of the services?
Yeah, probably. I don't know.
Spend the resources on the few, not the many.
Yeah. So I contrast that with ROTC programs because they're smaller. They have the benefit of being able to spend time and give everybody the chances to develop and grow, fail, learn where their faults are, and actually grow and figure things out.
It's more of a targeted dynamic.
Yeah.
Instead of being a broad service thing of, there's 1,000 of you, we're going to end up developing 10% of you ultimately will go do great things. Now you only have 30 people, and you can invest all that time and effort into those 30 people and make them the best leaders that they actually can go be.
Yeah. And it is a luxury they have that it's a lot smaller of a program so that they can actually, tailor some things to people, put people in places where their creativity can grow, where they need to be more stern and focused. All right, well, you're going to be the company first sergeant. You got to be stern and focused. Like, it gives people the opportunity to overcome their shortcomings and give them an opportunity to do it again if they failed the first time.
Yeah.
Whereas, West Point, you might get an opportunity, but if you fail at it, you just get a F or a bad grade for that leadership semester, and then that's it. And you don't really get a chance to do it again. And, this isn't criticizing West Point because, once again, 4,000 people in the class, you have 1,000 people there. There isn't the time isn't there. It's not realistic for them to be able to do that for a class that size. Just isn't. It's just more of a criticism of that system as a whole. Like, it is criticism of that system as a whole. And maybe larger ROTC programs run into the same issue, maybe because the flip side of that is West Point has you They kind of remove all of your issues. You got to focus on school. You got to focus on military stuff like once a month or something like that, and then over the summer. But they pay you the whole time. So you're, depending on who you are, your financial problems are either eliminated or minimized. ROTC, once you stop doing ROTC for the semester, summer, hey, yeah, you got to make money. You got to
go get a job.
You got to go get a job. Your tuition might not be covered, so you might not have an ROTC scholarship. So you might be working a job to pay for your school or pay your tuition or all other types of things. So it is probably a better preparer for the realities of life, because you have to pay for, you got to do your Army stuff, but you also got to make sure your rent's paid. Like, that's a balance. And so I think at least in my program, my experience with my program, was able to develop people in a lot of more targeted ways that West Point probably can't do. Not that can't do because of their scale, not because they lack the ability to do it or the desire to do it.
And it's also what, Russia cranked out gold medalists, right, for the Olympics for weightlifting.
Yeah.
And they had a brutal system. And the whole goal was, we're going to run 10,000 people through this. Yeah. We will cripple 9,990 of them, and we will create 10 of the world's best weightlifters. Yeah. And it just was, this is the system. And so it's one of those things where it's like, that doesn't sound like a very efficient system. And you're like, no, you don't understand what the goal is. We're going to do it this way. Yeah. This way only.
And whatever happens, happens.
And whatever happens, happens.
Yeah. And to be clear, I do think, like, and this is like looking back on who I was as a person, maybe if I had the maturity not to ask the stupid question, or maybe if I even wanted to fucking be there, which I didn't, if I wanted to be there, or if I had the maturity to be like, I need to take advantage of this opportunity, yada, yada, yada. I was very like indifferent to existing there as a, like the whole, like, oh, you get to be part of all this. And it wasn't until it was all taken away that it clicked of like what I wasn't anymore. But
you didn't drink the Kool-Aid, Will?
No, I did not. Much like that party in Georgetown, Guyana, I did not drink the Kool-Aid, and it was a bad time. That's the Jonestown Massacre, for those of you who don't know cult history. It's a cult, except it was a cult.
With Kool-Aid.
Kool-Aid looked a little weird. But ROTC, I learned better communication skills. Like, I could be an asshole sometimes unintentionally, sometimes very intentionally, but learning how to communicate better, learning how to appreciate ideas, even if I had already thought of them and thought of why they were going to fail, communicating, I thought about that, but hey, what about X, Y, and Z? And sometimes they'd be like, oh, I didn't think of those. Or sometimes they're like, yeah, well, I figured A, B, and C. And then they're like, oh, now it's somebody thinking in a way differently than me, and the importance of those ideas. How to just better people skills, better just practicing how I interacted with people, and my own leadership style, and how to appreciate everyone. So like I had developing and learning to do that, either through my own immaturity or the leadership model, didn't really happen at West Point. And I was probably a better leader because of it. So to be clear, it wasn't like, oh, I'm going to show them I'm better. It's like, no, I probably could have been better and developed better. And I did. So I think I was overall better for it, going through this process. And then the humbling also helped, because being told you're the best of the best of the best, sir, with honors. Watch the first Men
Was that a Men in Black reference?
Yes, that's a West Pointer. They show us that video all the time.
Do they really?
Yeah, no, they really show you. They're like, don't be this guy. And it's just like, it's funny. They'll tell you, don't be this guy, but then also tell you, like, you're the cream of the crop. You're the best people, yada, yada, yada. And it's like, yeah, man, when you tell me not to be that, but then you brainwash me and tell me I'm the greatest thing since sliced bread every fucking day for 4 years, really hard not to act like that guy. That's not how human psychology works. But
no, I really like this. I think it's an awesome perspective that you have that is radically unique. One, to have been a West Point guy.
Yeah.
Up until the 11th and a half hour.
Yeah.
And then pivoting, having turmoil and having an opportunity where zig or zag. And because, you're essentially put on the right track at the right moment to then be able to go into the JRT, go into an ROTC program and then be able to come out at the other end and being like, oh, I realize this is what I needed.
Yeah.
Not what I wanted. It wasn't in the path. It wasn't on the track that I originally had planned, but this is actually, I'm better for it at the end of this thing.
Oh yeah. I mean, a different person, maybe I would have gotten that same growing and maturing in the Army, and I would have, or wouldn't have lasted long. So there's something to be said for, maybe I would have just, it comes with maturing and growing as an adult, but I can directly correlate how I felt and how I performed and how I acted at West Point with how I did in an ROTC. And maybe it's because I actually wanted to fucking be there. Who the fuck knows? But, whatever.
Right. Well, I dig that. Well, we're going to end it here because I think it's perfect amount of time, tells that story, gets to you. Come on again, and we'll talk about actually getting into the Army.
Yeah, sure.
I think that'd be awesome. All right. Thank you, sir.
Anytime.
Thank you for listening to Veteran Story Hour, Voices of Valor, presented by Salute of Virginia. We're honored to share these real stories from real people, veterans, family members, and community leaders who served in all kinds of ways. If today's story resonated with you, we'd love for you to leave a review, follow the podcast, and share the episode with someone who needs to hear it. Every listen helps keep these voices alive and heard. New episodes drop twice a month, so stay tuned. We've got more stories coming your way. Stories of grit, grief, humor, healing, and the kind of truth that sticks with you. Until next time, take care of yourself, check in on someone you served with, and keep listening.